Yes.
Hi there, my name is Kendrick and welcome to another ENFP male interview. Today I get to interview Iris. So Iris, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Kendrick, for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Can you tell us what your full type is?
I'm an ISFP, and in OPS that is Fi-Se, double feminine. Now I have to say it right. Consume, sleep, play, blast.
All right. And what did you think and how did you feel when you got your typing results?
Um, Actually, I was quite devastated because I thought this was the worst type ever. Because I thought, oh, now I am like Brie Larson. And there was that class, and everyone was really negative about her. And I had a little bit of a suspicion when I saw that class. I thought, okay, I can be a little bit like that, but
Yeah.
let's hope I am a different type. And then, yeah, I got my
Well,
type, and I was like, oh, but
well,
yeah,
she's
it was
consumed
okay.
play, so you're not like her.
Yeah, and of course, she has also good sides, and but yeah, yeah.
A lot of ISFPs are like movie stars, so it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet, no. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, who knows? Exactly. Yeah, you don't know. You
After
don't
this
know.
interview.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you'll get scouted after this. Um,
Yeah.
so let's go over your functions first. Let's start with the first one, which is obviously FI, introvert feeling. Um,
Yes.
talk about what's life like, living in introvert feeling land, all day.
Um, it's a lot of feelings. Yeah. It's a lot of yeah, I didn't notice that before I got my type, but when I got my type, I started paying attention to it, and then I noticed like how often I say I feel or I like or um, yeah. So it's how I feel about things is really important, or it's really yeah uh, at the front all the time. It's uh, it's what I do all the time. uh, Feeling about things, and yeah, how I value that, and yeah,
So,
basically that.
um, because it's introvert feeling, it's very personal. Do you
Yeah.
feel like sharing your feelings with just about anybody is something that you don't want to do because it's so personal? Like you would only share it really with like someone that's really close.
Mm, no, not all the time. I share pretty much, um, but I just have the tendency to only share what I feel about things, and not all the time. That doesn't make the relationship work. So um, I'm now learning that it's also needed to talk about other things than how I feel about things to make relationships work. Like, how do we get the TE working instead of only me expressing my FI?
Right.
Um, and I do notice I'm in my own bubble, and that is getting a little bit less. But yeah, especially when I was younger, I was all the time in my own FI bubble, and not really paying attention to how other people feel or what other people are doing. So the tribe was kind of a homogenic mass, like I don't know how to say it. Uh, yeah, a little bit all the same. So that yeah, in that case, I was a bit in my own world.
So from what I'm hearing from you as an IP, you couldn't see people as individuals. You saw them as like a big mass of lump of
Yeah,
shit.
and a lot of time, because they also say that that IPs are really arrogant, or but for my case, I thought they we have the tribe and they're all better, and I'm here and unworthy and not good enough, and yeah, so I also thought for some time that I was maybe DE because of that, but yeah, also heard from Dave that it's also really possible for the eyes to yeah, feel like that. But just yeah, that standing apart from the tribe, that that I had a lot, and not checking in with the tribe. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. If you don't see them as individuals, you see them as like a group, a lump, then yeah, I guess it would be difficult for you to check in with them. But when did you come up in your life when you realize, wait a minute, they're not a lump group. It's everyone is an individual, with their own feelings and thoughts, and it's like when did you?
And there were, of course, there were certain people in my inner circle that I already saw as individuals. Um, so it's not completely like that, but it was a bit like that. um, but I think it's now, since I have my type, and that I'm really realizing also more I see the other types. Yeah, that not all other people are really the same, but uh, can more see the EPs and the EJs, and yeah.
Right. Okay. Um, let's talk about your second animal or second function, sorry, which is extrovert sensing. It's feminine. You have feminine extrovert sensing. So how do you personally experience that feminine extrovert sensing?
Um, yeah, for the observer functions, I don't really understand yet the feminine and the masculine. I find that difficult to see. I see it clearly in the decider functions, that I have the masculine Fi and then the feminine Te at the bottom. But for the observer, yeah, I see that I'm savior SE, because I'm always really into the details. Um, and I first thought that I was SI because I'm quite organized with things and with data, but the responsibility for the data and for the facts, and also, yeah, I talk like a sensor. Well, everyone says that, so it's probably true. Um, yeah, that I recognize most with the savior SE.
Got it. I guess you're clear when you speak. Like people are not making a guess because with the SE, you're
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
um,
I don't make guesses. I really want to be sure about something before I say it, and yeah, and also, yeah, the double observing. So um, yeah, I got that from your video with the panel
oh
that share the same functions as I have. Um, uh, there it came so clear that the observer functions in the middle, that they gather the facts and put them in one concept. So,
yes,
and that's also, yeah, that was very familiar to me, and also what I'm doing at work. Yeah, I gather the data and then I come to a conclusion. So yeah, that's what I'm doing all the time. That I can recognize. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was very interesting. I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
how is that the same? That's not the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's funny because I think we also I'm in this app group with some Dutch OPS people, and there we had similar discussions, and also it's really different from NESI.
yeah, super different.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I like having conversations with your function stack because I'm always like, that's not the same. And then they're like, no, it's the same. And I'm like, no, you can't shove it in the NI. It's not
yeah,
whatever. um, okay, so let's talk about your first animal. It's consume. It's FISE. So it's also SF. So it's like what's valuable, what's cool, what's popular. Talk about consuming that sort of stuff specifically.
yeah. You mean what I consume, or
Yeah, look, like how do you use your SF consume, your SEFI?
ah? Oh, I consume a lot, especially a lot of things on the self development. Uh, yeah, in that subject, psychology. That's also why I thought I was NE, because I'm I thought that are any things together, but not necessarily. Now I see that it is also SE. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm always watching or things about spirituality or indeed self-development, and it's kind of an addiction. And I can also see that I'm taking in all this information, but I'm really not doing that much with it, or at least not for anybody else. So that's some point of growth maybe, but I have not figured out yet
Yeah.
how. But yeah, all I want to do is basically consume all these things.
Well, maybe in the second half of your life, that's when it comes out, because then you have all this stuff that you've gathered, right, and organized. So
Yeah,
you'll be like a
but there,
yeah.
yeah, there are always more books to read and more videos to see, and yeah, yeah. And in terms of what is valuable, or what is, yeah, I have a good eye for quality, I think. And also I noticed that I'm also always comparing myself with others and comparing others. So I see others on that, like that SE scale. Yeah, or FISE scale.
Oh, I see. Right. The SE people, they like to compare themselves with other people, like who's better. Well, masculine SE do that. They'll be like, who's stronger, who's faster, But like, I wonder what feminine SE is doing. Like, what are you guys comparing?
Um,
Like beauty, aesthetics? Is that what it is, or like what?
um, not for me necessarily, but um, let's see for an example. Yeah, maybe stupid, but I always look like for example, for yoga classes. What is the best one, the best teacher, who's the closest to the original one, or who gives the best lessons, and then comparing that and um, looking for like quality in that kind of things, or with food, restaurants, uh, yeah, and also comparing myself to others, like, and that is difficult because um, I cannot really see myself. I see myself only for my own limited perspective. So yeah, that goes a bit wrong.
Well, my girlfriend has almost the same function stack as you. She's sleep, consume, play, blast. She's an
Oh
INTP.
yeah, yeah.
So, and in double feminine also. So some stuff that she said to me before was like, if she goes to Instagram and she sees like a really pretty girl, she feels really bad about herself. She said, like, she feels like, you know,
Mm,
like she feels like shit, like pretty much, So every time she sees someone that like, you know, it's not just aesthetic. Sometimes it could be like their life circumstance. So she'll think
yeah,
things like, oh, this other girl is the same age as me, but she already has like, a house and this kind of career, and I don't have any of this stuff. And
yeah,
and not only does she have all that stuff, she looks very fit, very pretty. So and then she gets like really insecure. She's like, oh, should I be having all that stuff too at like where I am, So do you feel any of those like
yeah.
feelings as well? Like,
Yeah, that I really recognize, not with beauty so much, but yeah, if I see people having a different kind of life, or they doing really what their passion is, or um, in my eyes they have much more fun, and then I can be really jealous on somebody else's life, and then I really have to talk myself out of that, because it's such a negative vibe, and I can, yeah, get stuck in that kind of negativity. And yeah, so then it helps to be grateful with what I have and focus on that. And yeah,
I think I do notice that FI leads get stuck in that trap because it's just social media, right? Like you don't know what's going on in the back end of the life of
yeah,
those people. Because on the front end, it might look perfect, right? But I can tell, I can pretty much, I can confidently say they're hiding something bad behind all that beautiful, like that painting on the social media that they have painted for what their life looks like, right? So it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. yeah, a lot of people share only their good things, so, or their yeah, the happy things and the pretty things, and yeah, everyone has his I don't know, there are sayings about that, but I don't
Yeah.
know the sayings in English.
Well, my cousin once told me, he's like, Kendrick, everyone is fucked up. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are just good at are better at hiding it than others. But if you look at it at the end of the day, everyone is like that. So, so it's like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
it's good to realize that, especially when I feel like that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, don't be fooled by the SE,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
But I think that's one of the downsides indeed of SEFI, or maybe combined with the sleep. I don't know. It's also
Yeah, I
yeah.
get what you're saying. I feel like you're getting trapped because you see the SE and then it goes in your sleep and then you feel bad. And it's like never ending loop, right? And then you're trapped.
Yeah. Then I come in this FI-NI loop, and that's double masculine,
Yeah.
and that is uh yeah, quite dense. I cannot get out of it,
Yeah.
and then I think everything is wrong with my life, and yeah,
Yeah.
spiraling down.
Jeez. That's horrible. Oh,
Yeah, well, luckily it's not all the time.
yeah. But luckily you have the play third because I feel like if you actually start like using play with someone and then that person looks perfect, but then actually reveal to you because now you're using play, so you're sharing about your life to each other, right? And then they reveal to you what's actually happening, then it kind of would destroy that SE or that vision, right? You're like, oh
Hmm.
my god, everyone has issues, So it's like,
Yeah.
so it's not like everyone's just perfect all the time.
No, and it's good. It's really good to connect about that.
Yeah.
I think in general people are too much hiding that side nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it should be more discussed, openly as opposed to
Yeah.
hiding. Yeah. Yeah. I think just showing your good side doesn't help anybody, not even yourself. I think you'll feel bad too, because then you have to feel like you have to keep that up, right? You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit fake. It's not the real you. Or yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's part of you, but it's not
yeah,
the
true,
that's
true.
not the
But not
full,
not a complete. Yeah.
yeah, not a complete story. Exactly. So since we're in this topic already, let's talk about your double masculine sleep, your FINI or NIFI. So it's NF. It's the purpose, your purpose, the meaning, what's the point? Can you talk about that a little bit? It's double masculine. So do you feel like you have an idea what your life purpose is, or
Um, not not really. But I know that I'm looking for that all the time. So that it is a really important thing to find that out, and uh, that's why I'm also a lot into spirituality and that kind of things. And but it's difficult to find really one purpose. But at the moment, yeah, I'm thinking about that a lot, and I'm busy with that a lot, figuring that out. Uh,
so your NF is in a sleep position, so it means finding meaning from within. So you're not getting it from anyone, you are finding it yourself. Like what's the meaning of life, or what's your life purpose? But it's your own, it's personal.
mhm.
So when someone tells you about their life purpose, does that help you at all, or you don't care about that? It's more like how what is what is your process of like searching for meaning, you know?
Yeah, I do read a lot, and I hear a lot about other people's purpose, but sometimes I also find it a bit like profound, or like do I really need to have it clear, or because I'm also a tester, so I feel like I have to try different things to find out what is the common concept in that, or what will be my purpose, or is my purpose. It's not completely clear yet. But I think indeed it has to come from within, because I can see a lot outside of other people, what their purpose is or what they think their purposes are. But yeah, then I don't know for myself. That I found more difficult. But it is really an item in my life, yeah.
I feel like in life, everyone has two life purpose. I feel like you have one for yourself and a life purpose for the tribe. So
Hmm?
I think you need to complete your self life purpose first, and then you would work on your tribe mission, essentially.
Yeah.
I, yeah, afterwards. And I feel like the tribe mission will never end, but the life,
No.
yeah. So that's kind of how I see it. Um, our NF is in a different spot. Yours is sleep minus consume, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like my life purpose is, or life mission is fed through new experiences. That's how I derive it. So for you, it's kind of interesting because it's like in a sleep position. So I feel like you're just like working in your head over and over and over and over again until you fine tune something that you feel is like the precise,
Yeah.
yeah, like
I do have an idea, but I think I don't know if I'm ready to share it already.
okay, I see.
So
You have
it's
something.
more, it's, yeah. Uh, I find it very intimate to share that.
All right.
It's
Oh,
maybe because it's that both introverted functions. Um, but basically, I think it has to do with that everyone really is okay, however they feel, or um, yeah, I think people nowadays are so hard on themselves, in trying to improve and trying to develop, and also can get lost in self-loathing, and that's one of the big issues for me, for myself. So I think that also has to do with uh, what I want to do for the tribe eventually, but I don't have it ready yet, or how to do that, or yeah.
have you read that book by Darren Brown called Happy?
No.
Yeah, I think what you're saying kind of is similar to what he was saying in that book, because he said that no matter what you do in your life, you're always going to end up in the same place. So you can have like the extreme high or the extreme low. So extreme sadness, anger, whatever, or extreme joy, excitement. But eventually, it's all going to level back to flat. So
Okay.
no matter what you do, it's really going to go to flat. So you might as well just aim for flat, because if you aim for high or low, it doesn't matter. It's gonna stay. It's gonna be the same at the end of the day. So um,
Oh, I'm curious about that. If I don't know.
I think he's trying to put a spin to
Yeah.
stoicism, where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you stay flat no matter what. And
It's also yeah, in Buddhism,
well,
one
it,
of the
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
concepts of Buddhism is also this equanimity. I don't know the word. Uh, well, that you have equal uh, mood all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it makes sense, right? When you're too happy, you know you're gonna crash and get really depressed, or like when you get really
mhm.
depressed, you know you're gonna go back up eventually. So it's like really eventually everything stays flat, right? Um, so it's like, you know, a lot of people are always trying to get like happy high. So it's like, oh, like some people they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy the new cell phone, or like if you're, or like I'll get a new girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you know. It's like there's, and then you get a new high, you know. It's like There's people who can't stay in a relationship because they only want the honeymoon phase, right? Because the honeymoon phase is like only high, right? Then afterwards it becomes flat, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm bored. Now I need to go date someone else, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but it never ends. It never ends. You're gonna stay flat regardless. So it's kind of interesting. But I feel like if you stay flat long enough, there is something at the end of that that feels different, you know, like you're happy, but it's not a spike, you know. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting too. It's not completely what I meant, but it's
yeah,
it's more, yeah, also, can we be okay with feeling not happy all the time and having these difficult emotions, and um yeah, that it's okay to be sad sometimes, and to feel that. I think it's, yeah, in our society that is not that much accepted, indeed. There's this, you should be happy and positive and everything all the time, but life has two sides. And then people can also get hard on themselves if they want to be always this good, or this happy, or have very high standards for themselves.
yeah. I feel like that's like the push and pull between FI and FE, you know, because FE's like, let's all be positive, think positive. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to be positive today. I want to feel like I want to
Yeah.
feel I want to feel like I don't want to cheer me up. I want to feel like shit. Okay. And and like just leave me alone. I want to, if I want to feel like shit today, I want to feel like shit. So, you know, so you know, you don't always have to be happy. It's fine.
True. Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, then you're having a bad day, you know. You don't need to
Well,
cheer yourself up.
you are very good in this, I hear. I'm not that, that good in that,
What do
even
you mean?
with um so sometimes when I have a bad day, I just I can be quite hard on myself.
You're not allowed to have a bad day?
No, well, I think that's that masculine FI, to have very high standards on self. I think that works better for double deciders, to be more balanced in that.
Well, I think growing up, one of the things I struggled with, I still struggle with it today, is self-acceptance. Like I really have
Yeah.
trouble. I really have like extreme problems with self-acceptance. I would say I'm a little bit better than I was when I was in my 20s. I wouldn't say I'm like better. It's just a little bit better. But I think for me, the one area I did improve on is accepting my current emotion, like the present emotion, you know, and not trying to I'm not trying to switch it to happy or whatever. Like if I feel really bad, I feel like trash or garbage that day, um, then it's okay for me to just stay in bed and wrap myself in a blanket and just feel horrible, you know, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'll just do it. And I do it like a few times a year. It does happen, and like there's a lot of things happening in my life, and um, I'll give you an example. Sometimes like I have to assert myself because I'm feminine DE like you. So like if I have to assert myself and set boundaries with another person, and I know I this is the right thing to do, but doing it, I'm so scared to do it. Like I just have
Yeah.
so much fear. But like I'm
Yeah.
like, ah, no, I need to do it. If I don't do it, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna lose self-esteem, right?
Mhm.
So I do it anyways. Like I'll like you know, sometimes downstairs in my apartment, the guy downstairs, he is always texting me. He's like, hey, can you stop making so much noises? And he's like, we just walk in the apartment and he's already like texting us, hey, you stop making noises. So just a few days ago, I finally like texted him. I'm like, we are not responsible for your happiness, whatever, you know, like we're not doing anything weird, you know. And I finally had like assert myself, but I still
Yeah.
felt scared to do it. I was so scared. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
and every time I do this, like I do this more now that I'm older, like, where I just assert myself, and like I'll go to my boss and be like, I don't want to work this shift anymore, and then I feel so bad because I'm a double decider, right? Because I know my boss is gonna feel so bad too, right? Um, and like, but I know it's the right thing to do for me, but like I feel so bad. So like every time I have to assert myself, do something that's assertive, oh my God, I get so freaked out and scared afterwards. Like I feel paralyzed. Like I just stay home. I'm like, like my world's falling apart, you know.
Yeah.
But later on, I feel better. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did it. I'll handle the backlash later on. Um, it is what it is. That's life, you know. In life, unfortunately, it's life is not easy. It's you know, and like and
Oh,
and being an adult is also difficult. Like I think
yes.
if you want to be a proper adult, you need to communicate to
Yeah.
other adults, and you know, you don't have to like yell at them and shout at them and you know lash out on them like a child, but you do have to communicate how you felt. And even if they don't validate your feelings, the fact that you communicate a feeling to that person, I think that's very important, you know. And then I think it depends on the personality type, of course. Like the pure DE would have trouble with this, but like I'm a double decider, so I'm a little bit better. Because for me, it's like as long as I'm able to communicate my feelings to the person, even if they invalidate it, um, at least I can get to a conclusion, you know. So if the person invalidates my feelings, I know this person is not someone I should be spending time with, and I can just kick them out from my life, you know. You
Hmm.
know, so it's like for me, it's also like you know, we're called double decider for a reason, and you're a single decider. So the good thing about that though is you can make a decision for yourself, right? At least for yourself, right? So at first you strive for a win-win, which is double decider, right? Me and the tribe, uh,
Yeah.
we're both gonna win. But if you cannot both win, then obviously you have to choose yourself. So that's the
Yeah.
second part. Now I do feel like with the IPs, it's a little bit more tricky because IPs they don't strive for win-win on the front end because they only see themselves, or so you guys see yourselves. So you only strive for what is gonna make you happy, not necessarily what the tribe's gonna happy. You know, you're not doing it on purpose. It's like by accident, right? Because like of your type, you know. Like
Mhm.
I have an IP friend, and he recently screwed over all my friends. He's been doing it for like the last 20 years. So we banned him for a year, right? And then the only way we can let him back in is if he makes an apology video and he signs a contract saying that
Okay.
I have to have it here. We made him sign a contract.
What did he do? What quite bad? Or
Yeah, he's an ISFP. He looks exactly like one of the people I interviewed in my channel actually. Um, so it's not like it's not like he did one bad thing. It's like a accumulation of a lot of small things
yeah.
over the last 25 years. And he thinks that whatever he did last time was the one thing that he did that he think was not a big deal and that caused him to get banned. No, it was a tipping point, you know. So it accumulates. You think you did one thing, it's
Yeah.
like, that wasn't such a big deal, you know. But no, it's not that. It's your history that. So for him, I'll give you one fucked up example that he used to do when we were younger. So we would go to a restaurant and go to an all you can eat restaurant, and if you order too much food in an all you can eat restaurant, then you have to pay extra for the food that you wasted, right? So what he'll
Hmm.
do if is that he'll tell to us, okay, I'm going to the washroom, and then actually he's driving away, you know, and then he's not gonna pay for his food,
Okay.
and he's done this several times, you know, and this is just one example of like something that he would do, you know.
Not all IPs are like that.
No, no, of course not, of course not. He's like an extreme example, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but I get what you mean with the IP thing, but it's um well, for myself, speaking for myself, it's not that I don't want to, but also I just don't know how. It's really like now I want to do things for the tribe, but I don't know how, or I don't know what they want, or it's such a uh yeah,
What did you
an
ask them?
undeveloped muscle. Yeah. Um so
But let me ask you
yeah.
a question. Are you curious about other people?
Um yeah, but not all.
No, but some, the ones that you're friends with. Are you curious?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So 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 that's the first step is you need to be curious. And so it's not
Yes.
since you're curious, do you ask them what they like, what they don't like? Like do you
Yeah, sometimes, but I really have to put myself to it. it's not that it doesn't go natural, and I don't do that. Always, I feel like the IPs are making into this bad person, so they're really, we are like the bad persons from the personality, the selfish ones. So
Well,
I
no,
find it sometimes difficult, like because yeah, in my perspective, I'm trying really hard, but yeah.
I don't think IPs are the bad guys. Okay,
Okay, good.
um, okay. So IPs is the most selfish type, sure, but they can also be the most generous type. So when you're the most selfish, you can also swing to the positive. EJs is actually more selfish than IPs, especially when they get on that swing, right? Because I'm looking at my life right now, and if I think back to my life, who can I really count on as a friend? And I can honestly tell you, it's not my EJ friends, it's my IP friends. Because the IP, they're not going to be there for you for the small stuff. They're not going to help you. They don't care, right? That's just the truth. But if you're really in trouble and you tell the IP you're in trouble, you need help, the IP is going to jump in. Because I feel like IPs, they also like a challenge. And if it's like a big problem and they're like the superhero of the situation, they're like, I'm in. I'm gonna take on this challenge. And so when me, for example, if I'm really in a serious trouble, the person I know that I can count on to save me would be an IP, probably, to bail me out. Not all IPs, of course. The one that we banned, of course, no one can count on him. He's like worthless. Um, you know, like, but we accepted it. We took him back because he made us an apology video, and we made him make an apology video, and we made him sign a contract. But like my other, not all IPs are bad guys. Okay, bad people. Okay, there's good IPs too. Like I have good IP friends, that I can count on. So so it's not like,
Okay, thank you.
it depends on the person too, right? It depends on the person also. Yeah, and I have EJ friends that I can't count on. I know they'll say nice things on the front end, but on the back end when I need help, they're the first one to run away. So so it's like, I mean, if one of your friends is in serious trouble and they ask you for help, would you say, yeah, you have no trouble like going there and helping them out?
No, yeah, for sure I help them out. And it's also what you say, like it's the significant thing, the IPs. Yeah, I recognize that you want to be the hero. So
Yeah.
so if there's really a problem, yeah, I will be there for my friends, of course.
Yeah, you probably like get really excited over it too.
But yeah. And also with the SET play, I like to help out on projects, on practical things. But just socializing for no reason, so like more the NEFE play, that is quite difficult for me. Yeah. Then I'm out. Like
So as an ISFP, would you say you like to because they made a video a long time ago, Dave and Shan, they made a video showing the Forrest Gump guy, what's his name? Tom Hanks.
okay.
And then Tom Hanks was beside this ISFP guy. I don't know what I forget his name is. And then they were both like explaining what is the worst thing that can happen to them. And then Tom Hanks, did you remember that video?
It was Ron Howard class, like I think.
Maybe, I don't know, I don't remember, but I just remember one of them, the Tom Hanks with the FE at the bottom. He said he wants to connect with people like emotionally or socially or whatever, and the other guy said like he wants to connect with people through work because of TE at the bottom. So it's like, do you feel the same way? Like, do you feel like connecting through work is very important to you?
Yeah, it's not. That was interesting, right? That Tom Hanks had the FE at the bottom, so he was like really afraid that he needed people for his social support or feeling support. So his biggest fear was that everyone would leave him with his feelings, and then the other guy, indeed the ISFP guy, that no one wanted to work with him. And I think that's also that's also a bit for me, indeed. Yeah.
Okay, can you talk about working with other people? Because I remember like Ida, for example, when I interviewed her, like she said she loves being in like meeting rooms and talking about like work and stuff, and like she enjoys like just sitting there and listening to the meetings and stuff. So do you feel like, how do you connect to work? Like how, like what part of our work that you enjoy, connecting with others, like projects?
Yeah, I really like to have a brainstorm. Um, well, not about everything, but if there's specific problems like, yeah, I work in a pharmaceutical company at the development. So yeah, if there's like a technical issue or want to set up a new experiment, and then I can give my yeah, my knowledge, my technical knowledge on the subject, and we can figure something out together. Yeah, that I really like in in contact with people. And yeah, that's also a bit where I really need people for, because I cannot figure that out all by myself. That is I don't have TI. So also, yeah, for example, when I have things in my house that need to be done, like technical things, or then yeah, I want to work with someone else to figure out how to do that. And yeah, I cannot do these things by myself. So I think my biggest fear would be if everyone left me because I am a selfish ass or something. then, then yeah, how would I ever do such things?
So
Yeah,
you get anything done without the tribe?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Of
that's,
course, I can do some things by myself, but if it gets difficult or if I've never done it before, then yeah, I don't know how to do it.
right. That makes sense. Especially with the ST play, you're trying to create, build something real
Yeah.
with a tribe. Let's talk about your masculine NI. How do you experience that masculine NI?
Yeah, I have been thinking about that because I was expecting this question, and I find my NI very difficult to see yet. Um, I see how I do it in combination with SE. So I'm gathering data. That's also for work, part for work what I do, and then I yeah, that data leads to certain conclusions. Um, I also see it that I do it in sleep. That I yeah. Um, and also a bit yeah, that it is really a demon, because I'm too much focused on all the details and not really that much on the yeah, on the line, or how do you say it, on the path. um so that's also the difficulty with the purpose, like I don't have that clear yet, so I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not really sure if they fit in uh really in a purpose or something. um
Are you talking about the long-term vision?
yeah, I don't have really a long-term vision, and that's also what I learned from OPS and from some videos of Dave and Shan, like um, yeah, that a lot of things that Shannon experienced, because she has the same middle functions as I have the same, only we have the other functions the other way around.
Right.
um, but yeah, too much focus on the latest and loudest, and what is now, and the sensory, instead of yeah, what's the long-term vision, or am I going, or what do I really want to do in life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that the rapper Jay-Z, he's a Ni-Fi, right? Double masculine. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever he makes music, he said like music always has to be timeless. So he thinks about like long term in the future. Like he'll think, is this music still gonna be relevant, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, will people
Yeah.
still enjoy it? So whenever he makes music, it's always with the long-term purpose or long-term goal in mind, not like, because like a lot of people who makes music, they make music that's relevant today, and they'll use like pop culture that's popular today. But 5 years from now, that pop culture is no longer relevant. So the music becomes irrelevant essentially, so
Yeah.
I guess that's like how you would use Ni-Fi, or yeah, Ni in general. It's like
Yeah.
always long-term planning when it comes to whatever you do.
Yeah. yeah, I sometimes make it the responsibility of others. For example, also at work. Um, yeah, they are responsible for giving me the overall picture, and then I fill in all the details.
Right.
So, and also I did that a bit with religion and spirituality, like kind of putting that as a responsibility for like the universe. So the universe has a plan for me, and it will be clear. Or
Right.
in
Oh,
the
that's funny.
past, it was kind of God, and now I think, okay, no, I have to figure this out myself, and I am responsible for that.
Right. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Like, yeah, definitely a lot of people of that's not savior and would outsource that
Hmm.
to religion instead or something,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
greater to give you a greater purpose, a greater meaning.
yeah. But
Um,
also, yeah, that's why how I see it as a demon function. Like yeah, I don't make myself responsible for it. Mm.
yeah, I hear a lot of ESFPs like, oh, I'm a born again Christian or whatever. It's like the NI at the bottom, right? It's
Yeah,
like I was like, okay, you're still outsourcing it, but okay, sure. Like, uh,
yeah.
okay, let's talk about your um NT blast. This is your fourth function. This is gonna be your it's pretty much what Dave is doing all day. If you watch OPS, him blasting nonstop about different concepts.
Yeah,
Um, have
yeah,
you have you ever seen yourself? Can you see yourself doing that? Because you probably understand it fully when he talks about it. Because you have that function, right? So you can see it.
yeah,
But using it is a different story. So
yeah.
uh,
I can. Yeah, I don't use it. Um, at least not much. I think a lot of using it, but I'm the that's with the demon blast. I don't get started. Um, so yeah, but I see it a lot indeed with Dave, and also yeah, some of the spiritual teachers. Uh,
well, for you, it's the INTJs for sure, because that's
yeah,
that's your blast, right? The INTJs blast. Like
yeah,
I
but
think
also Gray, she does it also.
who?
Um, Gray, she also is in the ops
Yeah,
camp,
great. Yeah,
and
she's an ENTJ. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So can you imagine that you have the potential to be blasting like those guys?
No, I really look up to that. I really admire it, but I don't. I wish I was doing that, but I don't know how, and I would. Yeah, it scares me quite a lot. Yeah.
So even after OPS breaks down how to do it, you still can't. You still have trouble practicing it because they pretty much told you how to practice it. Like like it's not. It's like the code has been revealed, right? Or the
Yeah, but I still don't know how. And then what should I blast about? How do I pick a subject? And
yeah.
um,
You like a lot of things, so you pick a subject that you like.
yeah, yeah,
What do you like?
I will do it.
What's that?
Something about spirituality, maybe,
There you go.
or psychology. But then, how do I make it right that the tribe can profit from? I mean, everyone is already doing that. So, what do I add?
You. The messenger matters. Is
Okay.
I had this talk with someone before. It's like, yeah, you can have two people talking about the exact same thing, but you're gonna prefer one person over the other, right? So, like maybe the other person's vibe is just the vibe that you prefer, you know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'll give you a concrete example. Okay, in OPS, how many people interview people in OPS? Okay, there's me, Benjamin, Gray, and probably like a bunch of other people, right? And we
There, yeah,
yeah, and we pretty much interview like with a lot of like at least like 80% of people we've all interviewed already together. Like all of us we've interviewed. So why would anyone watch, that same person get interviewed three times, let's say. Um, well, it's because every interviewer is different. They're gonna ask different questions, and
yeah,
and every interviewer has a different personality type. You have one ENFP, one ENTJ, one ISTP, right? So, it's like one EP, one EJ, one IP. So, like the only thing we're missing is an IJ interviewer now. But like, it's like it's gonna be different every time. Plus, you prefer one an interviewer over the other. Like it is what it is, right? Some people like to watch my channel. Some people like to watch Benjamin. Some like to watch Gray, and it is what it is, like, and so when you say, what do I have to bring to the table? When you bring yourself.
Yeah. Okay. But then how did you came up with this ID? And then you thought this is the ID, and that's maybe my SE. My SE is always looking for the best, but there's never maybe coming.
Well, you don't use
the
SE.
best thing.
You don't use your SE to make a decision. You use your FI to make a decision. What do I want to do?
Yeah.
It's like Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss said, okay, if you're starting a business, what do? Well, his answer was FI. He said, scratch your own itch. He said, solve your own problems. And guess what? He said, I bet you someone else has the exact same problem as you. And even though you're solving your own problem, you also help that same person that is like the same as you solve their problem too. So yeah, scratch your own itch is what he said. Obviously,
that's a good one. Yeah.
That's for us though. That's for FI people, right? If you have a TI or whatever, it's gonna be different. But but it's good for us FI. That's why it's called a decider, right? FI, it's a decider. You're deciding for yourself.
Yeah.
What should I work? What should I do? Well, what I want to do. So
yeah. I could of course share all the things that I'm consuming already because I'm consuming them already. So
yeah, there you go.
Why not blast about that? But yeah.
Remember earlier you talked about like you're always comparing like, oh, which yoga teacher is the best or whatever. So I feel like because you're high consume, I feel like for you the best thing for you to do is like to do reviews, to be honest, because you're trying so many different stuff.
Like, that's true. I've been thinking about that actually. Yes.
Yeah, because no one would know better than you because you've tried so many things. You're a tester and you're double activated consume. So you would know better than anyone, essentially,
Yeah. I'm getting coaching session for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Coaching session. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's why. No, I just think about that because like people have the same question, and I'm like, what did just do you? Like, don't you?
Yeah.
Wait, can you give me a list of things that you're passionate about?
Yeah, yoga, nature,
Okay.
spirituality, books,
okay,
personality related things, music to some extent. Yeah, can get all those things into more detail, but
yeah, there you go. There's so many of them. And you only talk about the categories too. You didn't even go to specifics. So I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You don't even have to pick one. You can do all of them.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. So I have last two questions for you, Iris, and we'll wrap up the interview. First one is let's talk about your sexual modalities. So you're tester visual. Talk about being tester visual.
Yeah, that was quite a surprise because first I thought I would be at least audio because as a kid I always looked like a boy. So I thought, based on that, I thought I must have a masculine function somewhere. But maybe that's because I have this masculine Ni+Fi, so the identity is masculine. I don't know. But yeah, now I can really see that I'm tester. Because I really need to try things out before I know what it is. So that's the way I learn. And also also visual to some extent, and that I'm really not audio because I cannot learn from spoken text, and that became also that's also why I realized how that was so difficult for me in for example in high school, and listening to things and also listening to meetings. Then I have to start making doodling, how do you say, making these pictures, drawing these pictures,
sketching.
Sketching, that otherwise I cannot think or take up information.
Yeah, I mean, you just prove it there. You had trouble finding the exact specific word, right? So
yeah, but that's also with English sometimes.
right, fair enough. You are Dutch?
Dutch, yes.
Yeah. Where in Netherlands are you?
In Den Haag, The Hague.
Oh, The Hague. Okay. Okay.
It's
Yeah, I've been there, I think.
you've been there. You've been in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I've been to all the European countries except for Iceland.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. The only one left is Iceland. I have to go there.
okay, and there was like a big trip, one big trip or several.
I took a 1 year backpacking trip around the world. So I started in the Middle East, then I went to Africa, and then I went to Asia, then went to Oceania, then South America, and then Europe was the last. And then I went to, yeah. So,
Whoa.
and I tried to go to as many countries as possible. I'm my EP, right? So I collect countries. So,
Gathering everything.
yeah, I gather all the countries. Yeah, now I can even compare now. I'm like, okay, I've been to Europe now, so I can say which is the best European country or which has the friendliest European people, like I can say it like some I might probably will offend some people or whatever. Like,
So what was the best European country?
okay, so let's I'm gonna divide it to two sections. So friendliest people and best countries. Okay.
Okay.
So best country in Europe, in my opinion, this is just my FI. Number one is Poland.
Ah, interesting.
Next is this is not a country. It's a part of the UK, but it's Scotland. Yeah. Next one would be Serbia. Oh, I love Serbia. People, but I also like so let's go with friendliest people. So friendliest people are Dutch, Finnish people,
Okay.
Serbians, Greeks, yeah, and let me think. Danish people are really friendly too. It's weird. I don't want to offend anyone, but I will. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I'll just say it. I'll probably offend some people. So disclaimer: just not everyone in your country is bad. Okay. But the most racist country I've been to in Europe is Italy, number one.
Okay.
Right? No competition. They are like the worst. Like not everyone. Of course, I met like a lot of nice Italian people too, but I also met a lot of like the most horrible ones were also in Italy. So Italy, number one. Number two worst is Switzerland. Yeah, they're like snobby and like really like passive aggressive racist also. And there was which other one is bad? I mean, Sweden. No offense. I interview a lot of people from Sweden. I interview a lot of people from Sweden, so I'm not saying they're all bad, but I did go there, and I'm like, they're not friend. And that shocked me how I go to Denmark and everyone's so friendly. I go to Sweden and people are not as friendly. I'm like, what the hell? They're your neighbors, and you're both Scandinavians, So I'm not saying all Swedish people are bad. Of course, I met a lot of like awesome Swedish people. It's just that as a backpacker, I did not meet any of them, any friendly ones. So there you go.
No, but I understand what you mean a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of them shocked me. Like Finland. Oh my god, I didn't know Finnish people are so nice. I love Finland. I've been there twice now.
But that's are good tips to for countries to visit, because
people say, oh, those Finnish people, they're introverted. They don't want to talk to anybody. They're like, yeah, but just because you're introverted doesn't mean you're not friendly. That's so stupid. And I went there and they're so friendly to me. Like, so many Finnish people went up to me. They're like, hey, you need help taking a picture? I'm like, oh, sure. And then, like, so it's, yeah, so it's nice.
Yeah. They have a weird language. I cannot make anything out of that, but
it's okay. They're like Denmark. Netherlands. They can speak good English, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you have a really strange language, then you have to speak English. Otherwise, yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys, the Dutch people, you guys embrace the English language, so it's good.
Yeah, but and thanks. It's great to hear that you think about us as the nicest people. Yeah.
No, but I was so shocked. Like I went I went to Europe last, right? So I went backpacking around the world, and I was looking at the concentration of ethnicity of friends that I made from other countries, and I was like, why is there a clustering of Dutch people that I have became friends with? And maybe it's because that Netherlands has always been an international country. You're a port. People from all over the world has always got the Netherlands. So maybe for you guys, it's like, yeah, you know, multiculturalism is not foreign. It's not a foreign concept. It's, you know, your society is built upon that, you being a trader nation.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's really cool, you know. So that's a big
Thanks.
all right, Iris. We'll wrap up the interview now because I have another interview actually right after this. So
oh, whoa.
Yeah, play high, you know. So okay.
Yeah,
So,
you have to.
yeah.
To have play high to do this. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right. So thanks again for coming out and doing this interview. I appreciate you sharing some of your stories, and yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your night. All right, take care.
Yes, thank you. Bye.